Let's start with our first news. Magomed Ankalaev did not hold back as he trashed Jiří Procházka after recent comments, sending a sharp warning that he should never mention his name again unless he is ready to fight. He stated that none of these other fighters are on his level and congratulated Carlos Ulberg for his performance. Ankalaev continued by saying Jiří has been knocked out in 3 of his last 6 fights, and he does not want to hear his name in the title picture anymore. He called it enough is enough, criticizing Jiří's approach and saying he kept targeting Carlos Ulberg's legs throughout the fight. According to Ankalaev, Jiří showed no mercy, and the performance he gave was fake and reckless. He emphasized that he is focused only on real contenders who deserve a shot, and dismissed any hype around fighters who cannot stay consistent inside the cage. The message was clear. Ankalaev believes he is operating on a completely different level than the rest of the division, and he is ready to prove it against anyone who steps up. His comments have sparked major reactions across the MMA community, with fans debating whether his criticism of Jiří Procházka is justified or too harsh. Ankalaev's confidence remains unmatched, and he continues to position himself at the top of the light heavyweight division, calling out only those he considers truly worthy of a title opportunity. He also made it clear that the division needs real competition, not hype, and warned that anyone speaking without action will be exposed inside the cage as soon as they step in against elite opposition. This statement reinforces his dominant mindset and championship ambition in the UFC light heavyweight landscape. He is ready for anyone willing to challenge his position at any time now. Move on to another news. Dana White reacted to Jiří Procházka versus Carlos Ulberg after the fight, giving his thoughts during the post-fight press conference. He called the moment crazy, saying the fight looked over, but in this game, it is never over until it is really over. He described it as an incredible comeback situation and admitted that while nothing is confirmed 100%, there were clear signs of damage during the exchanges. He explained that Jiří was kicking the front leg early, and that the front leg appeared to be bothering Carlos Ulberg. But then suddenly, the damage seemed to shift to the back leg. Dana White suggested it could possibly be an ACL issue, though he did not fully commit to that assessment. He also mentioned that some people believed Jiří was goofing around or acting during the fight, while others disagreed and saw it as a serious competitive moment inside the cage. He emphasized a key point, saying when a fighter has his opponent hurt, you must finish the job until the referee steps in and stops it. According to him, hesitation can change everything in a high-level fight, especially when momentum is shifting. After the event, Magomed Ankalaev also entered the conversation and criticized Jiří Procházka's performance. He took to X and expressed his frustration, saying that Jiří should not be mentioned in title discussions after recent performances. He questioned consistency and claimed that only real contenders deserve attention in the division. Ankalaev's comments added more fire to the debate, as fans split between defending Jiří's style and agreeing with the criticism. Meanwhile, Dana White's breakdown focused more on the technical and finishing aspect of the fight, highlighting how quickly situations can change inside the octagon. The overall reaction from the MMA world showed a mix of respect, confusion, and criticism, as both the fight outcome and post-fight comments continued to dominate discussion across the sport. The discussion continues to grow as analysts break down every detail of the fight, from leg kicks to timing and endurance. Many believe the controversy will only increase pressure on future matchups in the division, especially as contenders fight for positioning near the top of the rankings. Both fighters remain central figures in the light heavyweight picture, and their performances will likely influence upcoming title conversations and matchmaking decisions moving forward inside the UFC landscape. Strongly now, move on to another news. Demetrius Johnson shared his breakdown of Jiří Procházka versus Carlos Ulberg, offering a technical perspective on what went wrong and what ultimately decided the fight. He emphasized a crucial lesson in striking defense, explaining the importance of keeping your head up and maintaining proper awareness during exchanges. He pointed out that many athletes still fight with their hands too low, and that habit can be extremely dangerous at the elite level. He referenced fighters like Bobby Green and Jiří Procházka as examples of athletes who sometimes carry that risky style. According to him, when your hands are down, you cannot block everything, and even a small opening can lead to a perfectly timed shot that changes the entire fight. He described how a single clean strike can land at the very edge of the chin, enough to drop even experienced fighters. In his view, that is exactly the kind of moment that shifted the outcome and led to a major change in the division. He noted that Carlos Ulberg's performance earned him a new level of recognition, with the victory pushing him into a strong position at the top of the light heavyweight landscape. Demetrius Johnson also expressed that he feels deeply for Jiří Procházka, saying he looked gutted by the result. He suggested that Jiří's fighting style, especially his tendency to show mercy and keep his hands low, may continue to cost him in high-level matchups if not adjusted. He questioned whether Jiří would ever break that habit, implying that it has become a defining part of his approach inside the cage. He further explained that at the elite level, even the smallest technical mistake can be the difference between victory and defeat. A moment of hesitation, a dropped guard, or a missed angle can instantly flip the momentum of a fight. He acknowledged Jiří's creativity and aggression, but stressed that consistency and defense must match that level of offense. Overall, Demetrius Johnson highlighted the fine margins that separate champions from contenders, showing how quickly everything can change in a single exchange. He reinforced that lessons from this fight will likely be studied closely by other fighters in the division as they prepare for future battles inside the octagon and adjust their strategies moving forward. Move on to another news. Islam Makhachev was involved in an unexpected situation while traveling to Italy, as reports surfaced that he was targeted in a luggage theft incident during his trip. The situation quickly gained attention after he shared details on his Instagram story, explaining that his belongings had been stolen. He described how thieves managed to take all of his luggage, leaving him without his main travel items, which immediately raised concern among fans online. What made the situation even more strange was the fact that his passport and wallet were not taken. According to his post, those items were left behind, which he himself found unusual, as they are typically the first things stolen in such incidents. He even joked about it, noting that the robbers had returned his passport, calling them nice robbers in a sarcastic tone. He also revealed that the most valuable item in his suitcase was a pair of football cleats given to him after a recent match, and he expressed frustration that those specific items were taken. He addressed the thieves directly in his message, suggesting that if football was not their interest, he would gladly take the cleats back. The story added a light but unusual twist to the incident, as fans reacted to the unexpected details. Despite the theft, Makhachev reassured everyone that he is safe and in good condition. He made it clear that there is no need for panic or concern, emphasizing that everything important is still okay. His message focused on calmness, stating that he is fine and handling the situation without stress. He further added that even his prayer rug remained untouched, highlighting that nothing truly important to him was lost in the incident. This comment reflected his relaxed attitude despite the situation, showing that he was choosing to focus on what remained rather than what was taken. The incident quickly circulated online, with many fans expressing surprise at the details and the unusual nature of the theft. However, Makhachev's calm response helped ease concerns, as he continued to update followers and maintain a positive tone throughout the situation. The story ultimately highlighted both the unpredictable nature of travel incidents and Makhachev's composed mindset in handling unexpected challenges while abroad, keeping everything under control and moving forward without panic or disruption in his journey. Move on to another news. Joe Rogan discussed the potential matchup between Khamzat and Sean Strickland ahead of UFC 328, sharing his thoughts during a podcast conversation that quickly gained attention among fans. The discussion focused heavily on Strickland's durability, grappling ability, and overall fighting style, with Rogan emphasizing that he is a much more difficult opponent to control than many people believe. Rogan pointed out that Strickland's grappling is often underappreciated, and that many fans overlook how effective he is when fights hit the mat. He explained that even though Khamzat has a strong reputation for dominant wrestling, Strickland is not an easy fighter to keep down. According to the conversation, much of the outcome could depend on Strickland's motivation and how he shows up mentally on fight night. The podcast also revisited past training exchanges and sparring stories, where it was suggested that while Khamzat may have had moments of success, Strickland has claimed those situations were not fully representative of a real fight scenario. Rogan and the guest debated how those differences in context can change public perception, especially when discussing elite-level fighters. They further highlighted that Strickland is extremely hard to hit, with a very awkward and unpredictable style that makes opponents miss more often than expected. His defensive movement, combined with constant pressure and high-volume striking, creates a unique challenge for anyone he faces. Rogan described his style as unconventional, noting that he often keeps hands in your face, uses strange angles, and even throws looping shots that can break traditional defensive reads. He also emphasized Strickland's jab, calling it sharp and effective, with audible impact during exchanges in previous fights. The discussion noted that his timing and distance control allow him to land clean shots even against high-level opponents. At the same time, they acknowledged that Khamzat has also been tested before, with fighters like Gilbert Burns, Kamaru Usman, and Duplessis, showing that he can be made to look human under pressure in certain situations. The conversation continued with analysis of how both fighters match up stylistically, especially in terms of wrestling defense, striking pace, and fight IQ. Rogan stressed that small mistakes could be decisive, especially when facing someone with Khamzat's explosive grappling or Strickland's endurance and consistency. Overall, the discussion painted a highly competitive picture of a potential clash between two very different styles, where discipline, timing, and mental sharpness could decide everything inside the octagon as anticipation continues to build around the matchup moving forward. Move on to another news. Jon Jones has once again sparked confusion around his fighting future after sending mixed signals about retirement. Earlier reports suggested that he had announced he was done fighting on a Friday morning, which immediately sent shockwaves through the MMA community. However, just hours later, he reportedly reversed that stance, stating that he had spoken with Hunter Campbell about a possible return to the UFC. The situation became even more unclear during UFC 327, where Jon Jones was seen in attendance. Backstage, he was interviewed by UFC Brazil, where he openly addressed his current mindset and future plans. During the interview, he admitted that he is not even sure if he is officially retired or not, saying he is taking things day by day and trying to evaluate how his body feels before making any final decision. He explained that being back around the UFC environment has reignited a fire inside him that he had not felt in a while. According to Jones, simply being present at the event and witnessing the atmosphere brought back motivation and excitement that had faded over time. He described the experience as something that made him feel good again, suggesting that retirement may not be as final as initially believed. Jones also opened up about the underlying reason behind his uncertainty, stating that part of the issue came down to compensation. He expressed that he felt he deserved to be paid in a way that reflected his value, but that agreement was not reached. He acknowledged that disagreements like this are a normal part of life and professional sports, and that they played a role in his current situation. The shifting statements have left fans and analysts debating whether Jon Jones is truly stepping away from the sport or simply going through a negotiation phase. His comments suggest that while frustration exists, his competitive drive is still very much alive. The uncertainty surrounding his future continues to dominate discussions in the MMA world. As one of the sport's most dominant champions, appears to be weighing both financial and physical factors before making a final call on whether he will compete again or remain away from the octagon moving forward. Move on to another news. Arman reacted to Joe Rogan's recent comments regarding his potential matchup with Ilya, after Rogan suggested that he could have already been champion if everything outside the cage had gone differently. Rogan also highlighted Arman's skill set, pointing out that he is very slick, technical, and difficult to hit, especially when operating at his best inside the lightweight division. A clip surfaced online showing Arman watching the discussion, and his reaction appeared calm and composed, with little visible emotion. Fans interpreted this as him taking the advice seriously, or at least considering the points being made about his career path and future opportunities in the UFC. Rogan emphasized that the matchup against Ilya would be extremely interesting due to Ilya's timing, knockout power, and aggressive striking style. The discussion also shifted toward Ilya's striking ability, with Rogan noting that it is not just about whether Arman gets hit, but how he reacts when he does get hit. Ilya's power was described as elite, with the ability to change fights instantly with clean counters and well-timed combinations. Analysts pointed out that Ilya's ability to mix body and head attacks could create serious problems for any opponent standing in front of him. They referenced Arman's past fight with Wim Silva in 2023, where he was briefly rocked after a clean countershot. The moment was used as an example of how even high-level fighters can be caught when defensive lapses occur. Rogan and others suggested that Ilya's striking output is even more dangerous, with faster combinations and more diverse attack patterns that could overwhelm opponents under pressure. The breakdown continued by explaining that Ilya does not rely on single strikes, but rather builds combinations that mix angles, levels, and timing. This approach, they said, makes it extremely difficult for opponents to predict what comes next, often opening pathways for finishing shots. However, they also raised the question of whether Arman could adjust, counter, or potentially outgrapple Ilya if the fight ever materializes. Attention then shifted to strategy, with discussion around whether Arman's best path would be to engage in striking exchanges or focus on takedowns and control, similar to how other elite grapplers have neutralized dangerous strikers in past fights. Comparisons were made to fighters who successfully used wrestling-heavy approaches against elite stand-up opponents in championship settings. Finally, it was mentioned that Arman has been training alongside Khamzat, with footage emerging from Jackson, showing the two sharpening their grappling skills together. The clip sparked further interest in how both fighters are evolving their ground game as they prepare for future high-level matchups in their respective divisions, adding more anticipation around their upcoming fights and potential title implications.